Greetings everyone, my name is Napoleon Complex, I go by Ludendorf in the Southern Forums. Welcome back to the Slytherin 20th Anniversary Tournament. So today I am playing a Dacian army with Sarmatian allies, and my opponent Grommulax is using a German army. Now, unfortunately I clicked in, I kind of made my army first and I clicked before I could bring up the roster, but thankfully I memorized most of it. The Dacian army is comprised of a corps of picked warbands, which are optional to take. And now these picked warbands are kind of like the superior warbands that are close order, only they are loose order instead. So these picked warbands are capable of fighting extremely well in rough ground. There's almost nothing, just like there's almost nothing that can resist a superior warband on the offensive out in the open, there's almost nothing that can stop these units on the offensive or the defensive on the rough. Their impact status means that they can break up many average or even superior quality units on the charge, and if that doesn't work, their great number of troops means that they can slowly grind the enemy down instead. Their only weakness is that as a warband, they are somewhat more vulnerable to fragmentation, especially in the open because of their reduced cohesion penalty. But these units are extremely dangerous on the rough and can fight quite well in the open as well, though using them there is kind of a waste of points. Backing that up, we have various loose order warbands. Now these are capable of dominating any other enemy mediums on the rough ground. However, the fact that they are warband and they are considered medium foot, or warriors in other words, that's what warband medium foot are, means that they take both a cohesion penalty from being warbands and a cohesion penalty for fighting against close order troops in the open. So these units will, unless they can ensure that they win or draw every round of combat they get into, which isn't unheard of if they can go up against average quality units, these units will have a bad tendency to go to pieces once they start losing cohesion tests. So try to keep them in the rough, use them in the open only if you have to, but today my strategy may force me to use these units in the open. We have a single unit of poorly armed rabble, and these are only 15 points, and they make, for someone like me who always likes to go around the flank of an opponent, it just gives the line a little bit of extra length, and if you can pin down all the other enemy units in the map, you can then send this one last unit around the sides and try to bring down the enemy army that way. They're kind of a last-ditch attempt to make a flank attack, or alternatively, if things are going wrong on a flank, they can be one last attempt to plug the line. They will go down quickly, but they may distract whoever is attacking the flanks long enough for the other soldiers to win the battle. And I've calculated that the German army can take up to 21 troops if they neglect all skirmishers and they don't take any of their elite choices. My 19 troops should be enough to handle that situation, especially with all the support I have, but it's obviously that would mean my poorly armed rabble would be somewhat difficult to use, as flank attacks would become a lot more difficult to gain, unless I can gain a manoeuvre advantage with my powerful cavalry. So moving on to the linchpin, in my opinion, of the Dacian Sarmatian army, and it's these armoured noble lancers and the noble cavalry. Now the Germans, and I'll talk about the German list in a bit more depth in a moment, can only bring 2 units of noble cavalry. They are a very infantry heavy list, they are a very heavy infantry heavy list. Now these armoured nobles are more than capable of dispatching ordinary warbands in the open, and they are even capable of going up against superior warbands on the charge. And the warbands can't really do anything about these units once they get in front of them because they can't charge them. Admittedly then, the armoured noble lancers are kind of locked into combat as well, but their high speed means that they can often choose when that engagement comes up, or if it comes up, they can always avoid the warbands, run around and then come in to attack some other part of the battlefield. But they can also break through the warbands if they have to, and given enough time they will achieve that 9 times out of 10, unless the warbands can do something very clever and pin them into melee somehow. We also have some noble cavalry. These can either be used to keep the enemy's noble cavalry busy, or to flank the enemy noble cavalry, or the warbands once the armoured noble lancers get them in melee, because once the warbands disrupt, the armoured noble lancers will be able to keep them in melee. or they can just be used to flank enemy infantry. So say the armoured noble lancers are busy with something else, these noble cavalry can be held in reserve and then sent to other parts of the battlefield where they can get easy flank attacks once the enemy is occupied elsewhere. So great troops to use once the enemy is out of position. I've also brought a wing of light archers and light javelinmen. Now this has been brought specifically to counter the enemy's foot skirmisher capabilities. The light javelinmen are capable of charging into melee and occupying enemy skirmishers, so they should hopefully nullify the light skirmishers. And with 4 units of archers against potentially 2 units of enemy archers and 2 units of skirmishers, I should be able to pick any remaining light javelin apart before they can effectively close to melee, and then I can win the battle against the outnumbered archers. The only danger is that he could have brought 2 light javelin horse, and now that I think about it, I kind of wish I'd brought the 1 light javelin horse unit that I could have brought, because the light javelin horse could be used to either distract my noble cavalry or to directly charge my light archers, and unless we can shoot them down, that could cause some problems. The light javelin can be used in a pinch to block the charge of light javelin horse, so hopefully those 2 units will cancel one another out. So, talking about the German army, it is comprised of 7 loose order warbands, around 4 units of picked superior warband, which are the same as the picked warband, only they are close order. They fight well in the open rather than on the rough. So they're basically warband heavy, elite warband heavy infantry. And then there's a smattering of close order warbands who are meant to fight out in the open. They will do quite well against my loose order warbands if they can start winning battles against them. It'll be even odds at first, but once the loose order warbands start losing combat, they will start to disrupt first. The close order warbands have a slightly better chance of maintaining their cohesion when actually in combat, as they only have the -1 penalty from being warbands, and not also the I will effectively have a -2 penalty due to them also being medium foot that are caught out in the open. And of course they'll shred my poorly armoured rabble. With the Volksmen, and I haven't talked about the Volksmen yet, it's a toss-up. Volksmen eliminate any armour protection, so they eliminate protected status, and I think they reduce armoured status down to effectively protected status. And they are superior as well. So if the Volksmen need to avoid the superior warbands out in the open, because the impact bonus will shred the Volksmen, and even if the Volksmen can withstand the initial impact, they'll be ground down. That's reflected in their cost, by the way. They're only 48 points, and that also reflects the fact that they are very vulnerable to enemy missiles, so I need to keep them protected from the enemy skirmishers. That's what this team's for. As well as, I hope to use these aggressively to start harassing the warbands and force them to pay attention to this force over here. Because my idea, once again, is to kind of occupy all parts of the enemy force, use my mobility to get around the sides, and then start scoring flank attacks. But they could also pick off a warband or 2 if they get the chance. But going back to the Volksmen, these units can beat the close order warbands if they can survive initial impact, and then score disruptions by winning the combat, but they're at risk of being ground down over time. They are vulnerable to missiles, and they need to avoid the superior warbands out in the open like the plague. And the enemy close order warbands will be good against my loose order warbands in the open. I'm in a situation where I'm hoping to ride these. Now, let's talk about the battle's initial strategy. I'm hoping to move these units up, and I've picked my best units for that reason, to anchor this corner of the rough ground here. I can't anchor both corners very easily, not unless I can move my armoured cavalry into position to neutralise any forces over here, because there is a way. If you can turn this corner here, turn this corner to face here, and turn the other unit to face here, then you can get a flank attack in through here. So just trying to bottle up on this area of rough ground, especially against a skilled opponent like Grommulax, who apparently trounced his opponent last round. So he obviously knows what he's doing. This isn't tenable to try and hold both sides of, and so I've concentrated my infantry over here, I've concentrated my cavalry over here, and I'm hoping to gain an advantage on one side. If he tries to concentrate his infantry on this side of the battlefield, then I can move my cavalry around to flank. If he tries to concentrate his army on this side of the battlefield, then my large force of medium infantry can start to move around again to flank and get the manoeuvre advantage. If he splits his forces, then hopefully I can keep him occupied long enough for my skirmisher advantage to do some work weakening up his army, and then I can get attacks of opportunity, and it'll be a war of manoeuvre then. But that is the overall strategy. Hold here, and then attack either here or here, depending on where he goes, and neutralize his skirmishers using my strong skirmisher wing here. And I've tried to make this army as well balanced as possible, and throw in these guys if all else is occupied. Okay folks, that's enough talk. Let's get on with the battle. I'll see you next turn. Need to remember not to zoom out because that's apparently off-putting, so for some people. So from what I saw in the other game as well, he's advancing like this. Grommulax is a very aggressive commander. Which I like. I can certainly identify with that. Now I calculated, so what, let's see. He should reach here next turn and then there next turn, so I need 1. He'll move to here. 2. And then he'll move to here. Then I can move up my front line. Alright. But then the only thing is we'll be face to face with that superior warband then. As long as this Volks unit can take a hit, we should be then able to get our troops into the heart of his superior warbands. Yes, some skirmishers available. Oh. I could try and pick off his light javelin this turn, but it would be a waste of ammo. I think I'd rather move them this way and make it clear that I'm going to shoot down his light jav. And that's fine. I don't mind if he comes forward, so there's no need to threaten the square. I want to move them through here because he can move to the square. Might obstruct my movement just a bit. I want to keep these guys mobile. Move them to here, but this unit moves here, and that way you can't just shut the movements of this light javelin unit down with a diagonal move. It gives us flexibility, and that's important. Armoured noble lancers, well, they have exactly one job right now. The cavalry needs to get out towards the flanks. And we're going to try and get around the flanks. We're going to try and surround this army. And that weaker cavalry in the back, I don't particularly care about. It doesn't scare me. So onwards with the plan. Those are close orders, so they'll struggle to do anything against my flank guard anyway. If he's happy enough to advance, I'll come out to meet him. We're sticking to the original plan. Now, based on the way this is going... No, that's not what I want to do. I want this unit of poorly armed rabble to... Let's say things go wrong around here. Thing is, we can't do much about the loose order warband. I'm going to start to move my poorly armed rabble over to here. That way, if the Volksmen get broken through, then that's the Volksmen facing the superior warband. And say this unit breaks through, starts to threaten the flank of this unit here. Or even worse, if both of these go, I've got a unit of poorly armed rabble on this rough ground here, and they just kind of act as a reserve. The thing is, he does have some troops here which can act as reinforcements. So maybe I want to actually start to shift them right, my reserves, with the expectation that we're going right around the flanks. The only problem with moving my infantry forward like this is that my lancers don't have so much time to get their flanking jobs done. And if anything in my line breaks, well, that's less points that I have to win the tournament with. Well, this is all loose order anyway, so we'll see how this goes. It's all a little bit scary, to be honest. Move up. Well, we're committed to this move now, at least. I could decide instead to hide back in this rough ground, but that would mean splitting my army and a lot of my killing power. But I know that those close order warbands are not good against my lancers. And if we are in a race for the rough ground, then hopefully I can take the initiative around and get around his back. Because if he starts to move these over, it'll pull them out, it'll pull their facing around. Next turn. So he's ignoring my scar and he's going after the vulnerable Volksman, which is wise. And I can't protect them anymore, can I? Also, look where they're standing. That's the classic problem. So he's just walling off my lancers, which is the correct thing to do. Well, I'm still going to come out and attack them. What I might do then is hesitate and just try and focus on winning this side of the battlefield. Okay, let's see. I can't attack with that unit, so it'll just have to continue. Haven't decided what to do with this unit yet. Move up, strike a few blows against those javelins. Okay, and I think we will attack here. Held firm. Just really go in for a powerful attack, see if we can get them to disrupt. Get them to disrupt. Okay, so those skirmishers are going down. Lost movement. Well, the problem is that his warbands will catch them then. So we pretty much have to stay out here for the moment. Good, 2 disruptions. Less good over here. This rough ground has actually become less valuable to me because... Oh no, because I still want to protect my flanks against the superior warbands. So how best to deal with this? Well, we don't want them getting a direct shot at us, and if they move up, they could obstruct us and lure us off. Then again, like I said, I don't want his units to be able to draw this unit out of formation. What to do about that, I wonder. Because they are a great target, this wall of Volksmen. Is there any way I could bring these units in time? Maybe if we could do a quick flank transfer. So let's see. But we wouldn't be able to make, because I mean they'll be there next turn. I think I'll move my cavalry next. So these 4 warbands are good candidates for charging into. and causing disruptions too, but he's got his cavalry back here, which I need to be wary of. Also, I don't particularly want to set myself up to get hit by archers. Okay, so anyway, we're targeting the enemy's warbands with our cavalry. The only thing is, if they get isolated from the rest of my army, then these superior warbands could turn in. Problem really is that my units aren't supporting one another as well as I would have liked. Well, I mean, he could move to shoot my noble cavalry, but he'd pay with it with a point-blank volley from my light javelins. This situation is difficult. So the idea was to move up as a line here. So what did I say to everyone before the battle was? Keep your Volksmen protected from javelinmen. And what do? I expose my Volksmen to javelinmen. Right, let's see if we can adapt the strategy a bit. So maybe I can hold a line here instead. It's a little bit less protection, but we still got the rough ground here. If I can move my picked warband up to defend, it just means a little shuffle to the right. So I think I'll start to do that. It's not exactly great, but we have to improvise a little bit here. But just those 2 units forced me to alter my entire strategy. And it also means that these superior warbands have free reign to go after my lancers. So I'm going to have to really emphasize this right-hand attack. So these units come in because they are fairly resistant to archer fire, and this will be my new front line. Right, they're just the... To be honest, these guys could help us make the front line. Although the facing is going to be a problem. No, I think they should just move up, and I should be able to do something with them. Problem is, their facing is going to be all over the place. If I do that, so move up here, and they can swing around and out towards the flanks, which is what we intend to do with them. These guys can start to shuffle in. I need to be careful because he can still move to this square and shoot at my Volksmen. The only way to completely block him from doing that is just to turn like this. So well played, Grommulax. You forced my entire strategy to change there. And this might not be quite as good as I expected it to be, because these warbands are quite an obstacle, and if my armoured noble lancers get bogged down fighting close order warbands, then they'll Though it would at least lead away superior warbands. And he can start to move these around the flank. He's got these cavalry in reserve. So our battle line will now be here. On the other hand, it will take him a long time to reach any position where he can significantly threaten my line. So it's not a perfect win for him. He can drive me even further off the rough ground though. And of course I've still got these to worry about, these superior warbands. Which you'll probably switch the general to. And they'll be here next turn within charge distance. What I can do is maybe swing out here and try and threaten the flanks if he does that. Because he'll be here. If I move to here, he'll be able to charge, but then I can move out to here and threaten the line. So that would bring me to here. I'd need to keep shuffling troops around. But he's got reserves as well to slide in. I'm learning a lot from these matches because my other players keep coming up with different ways to frustrate my flank attacks. Next turn. My real hope right now is to make some use of my skirmishers. If we can get a disruption amongst this infantry after clearing out the skirmishers, that will help a lot. Ouch. Even after all of that, he still managed to score a good strike against me. He's bringing reinforcements over, which makes a lot of sense under the circumstances. He's not going to be able to stop me from forming up though. And actually, now that I look at this line's position, let's see. There are some opportunities for me here. If I can swing wide around this line, I can potentially start to open that line up. My plan is to fall back with this warband. But that means abandoning my... of course. Oh, that's perfect. That is perfect. So the skirmisher threat's alleviated, and all I need to do now is bring my Volksmen in, and I've got my flank guard back. Perfect. The problem resolved itself. I don't have to panic about losing my Volksmen to missile fire. Oh, I was so worried about that threat. In fact, I suspect if Grommulax realised just how frightened I was of those so many unmanoeuvrable troops here. It's making manoeuvring very difficult. He can move in here and block the square, so I want to keep this. Okay, this Volksman unit's getting delayed. Getting into a bit of a traffic jam here. But then again, he can't really move out like that recklessly, because if he moves to here, I don't think he can get reinforcements to all these squares before they get flanked. Keep that general in the centre. I'm tired of my generals going walkabout. And just keep moving around. I don't need that many units. However, it does mean that I didn't get to make use of the rough ground as much as I would have wanted to. Maybe I can move to here, and that will at least give... Oh, but then... Tricky. There's again 4 units here to deal with the... I've got 6 units here to deal with 6 units here. But that still leaves... He's still got troops that are loose. Maybe I should rethink that move. I think I might need extra forces over here. Let's see, so he's got 1, 2, maybe 3 units in reserve. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is an excessive flanking force. We do not need to add more Volksmen to that on top of it. Keep them in reserve where they're actually needed. Okay, shoot them in the face, shoot them in the face. If I charge, that could just get me into trouble, so... Cavalry charge, on the other hand, might not be such a terrible idea. No, that's not. Now I'm getting heavies into trouble. Show some restraint, Ludendorf. It does seem a shame not to try. I could break both of these now, and even if I lose, even if it doesn't go through, then I've caused him a lot of. Then I've. Let's see, because if he moves forward here and then to here, he could potentially get them out of trouble. I think this is my best chance to kill them. They've held firm. That's unfortunate. Ah, never mind. Oh, great. Now I've probably thrown them away. He'll charge here, and let's see if I can't do something about this. Because they run away to about here, and then they get, or even to here, and they get flanked. They're guaranteed to get flanked, unless I can do something to protect them. Unless I don't really think I can do. The only thing I could do is bring in this armored noble lancer unit, and that would block that square off. But then my noble lancers are engaged. So I think you're on your own, lads. I shouldn't have made that charge. Should have just let them run away. I had them fragmented. Why did I bother? Why did I throw away my advantage? Move into the attack. Or maybe I should be bolder. Let's see. So he has to engage this unit. 1, 2, 3. He's got frontal forces. I've got 3 in reserve. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. This is where he outnumbers me. This is where he outnumbers me. And that flank attack will take time to go through. So I need to be defensive over here, if anything. Because even with all of this combat power, I can't afford to be reckless with it. So unfortunately he's going to take the light archer unit. It's foolish for me to do anything else but defend. Okay. In fact, I'm even going to drop back and show some uncharacteristic hesitance with my lancers, because I want to keep shadowing these superior warbands. And make this approach as difficult for his men as possible. Okay. On that foreboding note, next turn. Alright. Okay, we might actually survive here. I thought those archers are still going to take a mauling, but at least they won't be dead. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. That could cause our desired flank attack some trouble. Right, let's take a look. It does actually give me a little bit of protection from the rough ground the way he's set up here. Potentially, if we're careful. So once again, I find myself in a position where I want to turn this flank from as he can slide out and protect that area of the line. So I need to think carefully about where I want to place my troops. Otherwise, we're going to get a face full of German, and we won't be able to actually flank this line because he'll have blocked it with his flank guards here. And he's got more reinforcements on the way, so I need to be quick. I can't even afford to delay a couple of combat rounds. This is my battle-winning stroke. This is the priority. Now I don't think I can position myself in this line here yet, so I need to hang back here. See, so he can move here. That means I want to have troops to move to here. So the way I see it, I want to have a troop on this square, on this square facing inwards so that I can threaten any superior warband that charges here. And I want to have troops threatening these squares that his troops can move on to, so that whatever he does, he's threatened with a flank attack next turn. Thankfully, I don't think that should be too difficult to manage. Okay. And don't look now, but I think that's his army in a rather nasty the beginnings of a rather nasty encirclement. You can't turn to face in that situation. Alright. So we want to turn to face this way. That's quite nasty, and he'll probably general up. I suppose I could try to charge out and pin his general into combat, but that doesn't really give me any advantage. What if I moved up here? Because if he tried to attack me, I'd be threatening his flank again. Is there any advantage to doing that? We definitely don't want to try and push out. I think having a general here is overkill, to be perfectly honest, because we're defending on this side. On the other hand, it could make it very difficult for his warbands to actually attack this corner if I move up. So of course trying to move up in this order means I guess I'm abandoning the idea of using this rough ground to protect me from the superior warbands. Okay, finish these guys off. Let's see, are we in a position that we can start to attack those warbands yet? Hit them again. But we can't really hit them much more. I should probably pull back. Problem is I still can't really concentrate my fire well enough to cause real damage here. I could turn and shoot at the light archers, I suppose, but this is getting awfully scary, so I don't really want to do that. I don't think I'm in a position to make it work. Normally this would be a wasted volley, but if both our archers can concentrate their fire, we might score a disruption here. Good. Okay, picking away at their skirmish line. That's leaving precious little fire to spend on the warbands. And his cavalry's back here, which I'm very keenly aware of. So because of the way things have worked out, he won't be around this. He won't be able to attack until he can hit this unit here. Now I can move my units around. Maybe I can get even more troops available. Why can my troops not turn? Very peculiar. Okay. So, what are we going to do with our cavalry? Am I going to bring them in to try and slow down this attack? And what will happen if I do? Let's see. I think it does give them a problem to solve, which means it's worth doing. Don't separate our cavalry though, keep them close together in support, and some units back in reserve. Because we're outnumbered here, a positional advantage is the only advantage I have. That and these swarms of skirmishers will help. Okay, next turn. As the football hooligans would say, here we go, here we go, here we go. That movement always catches me off guard. Dangerous. Oh, bad luck. You can't stop a flank attack long term there. But that was very unlucky. Well, not really. Why didn't I have a general there? Because I decided not to move it off my picked warband. That was an error of judgment. Now my line is becoming undermined. And that's going to carry straight through, and they're going to hit these guys in the back. Nope, they didn't, amazingly. Right, there's a chance here. We might be able to disrupt this close order warbands and take them out. He's having to think here because my lancers are in the way. Right. We need to turn around and hit that warband with everything we've got. Let's think about this. Okay, they've held firm, so they're probably going to hold firm this turn. Shoot them in the face again. Nope, nothing. Uh-oh. Now. Great, I've just set my archers up like dominoes. Actually, let's see. So they fall through. Just set up the light javelin so they receive the charge of the light javelin horse. Oh wait, no. Because that unit's threatening. We have to turn and try and defend ourselves. Now that unit is quite exposed. Let's try a charge here. Nope, nothing. Oh, those were noble cavalry. That would have been much more effective if I used lancers. But he does have to think twice about these kinds of attacks now, because I've got a lot of cavalry hunting around his flanks. And unlike the noble cavalry, the lancers won't stop. This is bad. This was a really, really bad thing to happen. I think it was only a 20% chance. I'm going to try to hold my line together here. We managed it. We've managed to hold on. And that gives me an opportunity to strike. It does mean that my loose order warbands need to get into combat with these units here. And unless that works, there's no point doing anything else. Now I can turn and flank him here. I'm not always clever, but sometimes, just sometimes, I get it right. We're manoeuvring for advantage still, so no need to take rash action. Move up systematically. And now I have two of his flanks threatened. Try and hold the line. We're holding it. No point pushing through here. That's why the picked warband are here. It's why they've been chosen to defend this corner. We hold our position and we wait. I will turn this unit around so they can move around just in case this goes south quickly. You're just going to engage again here and then move to get the flank here, and that's how we're going to break this position. Move further units around the flanks just in case. And I think I'll get my poorly armed rebel ready to exploit any breach here. Okay, let's look at the Lancers one last time. Is there anything more we can do? Well, we probably shouldn't leave them facing in like this. No, it's very important like it doesn't get a chance to block in any of my units. We've got these Volksmen here as well, so I don't need to do anything drastic. I don't think there's too much we need to do here. Just don't let them engage at any angle, which would not allow our troops to drop back. Which means this situation here needs to change. Okay. Got him in a little box here. Next turn. Well, let's see if my warband held out long enough to get the flank attack. I should get at least one flank here. But... oh, well that certainly keeps things interesting. You idiots. You idiots. You idiots. Well, that's something at least. And I've messed up here. He had one job, and that was to threaten the superior warbands. Another instant fragmentation. Well, I had a strong position. Past tense. My men have done a dreadful job of this. I'm doing this to make sure they don't bounce back. At least I didn't lose the 12% chance. That helps. That helps a lot. Looks like the shoe's back on the other foot. This has been a very changeable battle. No, we're not going to survive here if I don't. Oh, wow. And they even took the general with them, and they disrupted that unit. Horrendous, horrendous luck for me here. At least they didn't go too far. I still got an option here. If these units can hold on. My general must be screaming at his men right now. At least I've got these units here so I can threaten any attempt to move in here. I've still got options, but this went horribly wrong. Now let's see if we can start to push up here and take advantage of turns of events. Nope. What about here? Well, now we're in trouble because we'll be engaged soon. Thankfully he can't turn the flank. So we're okay for the moment, but this is going to hurt like hell. Obviously, the random number gods aren't placated. They want the content on this channel to be exciting. So they've decided to keep this interesting by thwarting my every move. But just enough, giving me just enough good luck in return to keep me alive. Tis a test from the heavens. Oh no, I charged so they won't bounce off. That's a disruption. That lets me bounce off. I can slide in through here next turn. And yeah, we'll just hit here and bounce off. Oh, wait, doesn't really help. So I think he can move this way and lock this in. And that's not doing us any favours. What a waste of space you were. This is going to get right in my way, isn't it? Yup. And they're going to get my skirmishers. At least they can give us light cavalry something to be sorry about. But we hopefully will be able to take this unit. The only thing is that these cavalry are moving up. He split my army here. This is going to be a nasty one. And it was looking so good just a turn ago. Next turn. Okay. I am mentally preparing myself for the idea that I might not do as well as I hoped in this round of the tournament. Both good and bad luck there. Bad luck that we lost, but good luck that we held our ground. And I think the dice are making fun of us at this point. If he turned them at a diagonal, he could have saved his troops potentially. Okay. I was just about to say, can't you morons do anything right? Well, that's going well. I don't like this situation developing here. And the luck spirals again. It's not, I don't want to comment on the luck, but it's just, It's been so bizarre, this tournament. That it's not like, I'm not complaining, it's worth remarking on. Because it is so unusual. And we're still losing this because he's generaled up here. And this unit is caught in multiple melees. Now this is a really tense situation. Look at the chances here. We could lose. There's small chances everywhere for different sides to lose or win. It looks like I'm getting the first breakthrough here, but look at the situation right beside us. Let's see if we can survive these quarter chances as we pass there. What about here? So it'll be about a quarter chance. 1/3 of the coin flip results are bad for us, and of course if we fall back here, amazingly we're able to go toe-to-toe with a superior warband. That'll be a pushback. Not too bad because he doesn't have any reserves to exploit the gap. Okay, this might cause a panic. Alright then. Let's make the situation worse. And then we're safe to run, really. His cavalry will charge me, so I have to run past just keep charging and we'll get a break in them eventually. It's a little bit scary, to be honest. There we go. Slowly getting forced back towards the forest here. Lancers haven't had much luck this battle, but, well, tell a lie, they're doing okay. Managed to break 2 warbands down. They turn and face, of course. Definitely want to break this unit because that's the one that we actually have a good chance of cracking. Fragmented. But of course he's breaking through here. It's this weird game of break and of flank and counter flank as well. That's more usual. I've seen that quite a lot. Because we'll still have them in our sights when they move forward. I quite often see this where units break through and get a flank and then they're flanked in turn and then another unit flanks them. I think most of these have been my flanks, but he's just had so much success in disrupting my units that it's not quite, and his units are have such high quality that it's not counting for much. Another thing to bear in mind is my units tend to be loose order, and they're fighting in the open, to explain some of the disrupts. Next turn. No, don't rally up. Rally down. Or just don't rally. Oh. We're kind of in the skirmisher firing zone right now. Yeah, it's not over yet. He's going after that one. Well, we withstood it. Lots of casualties though. Crash, bang, wallop. Okay, that's good. I don't think my men are going to hang around. And that's probably going to panic the others. And straight into the disrupted foot. But we held. We've held our ground. We've continued to hold our ground. What is this? Give Napoleon a heart attack day. There we go. Something goes wrong. Yeah, but they're now going to pursue. And they're going to go straight into the... Yep. Not a good fight to take, boys. And it's lined up a flank. That's good for us. That's excellent news for us. That's brilliant news for us. Okay. News of my impending death may have been greatly exaggerated. Let's see how things look over here. Okay, very, very important I get the right target here. You'd better run away. Good. And that's them zone of control. So they are not going anywhere. And just to add insult to injury, now we've got their flank threatened as well. Okay. Now let's see if we can get these guys to shove off. No joy. Go away, please. Alright, so we're not getting rid of them that easy. That leaves my weaker units to deal with it. Thankfully, the poorly armed rabble at least have numbers on their side. They're one of the few units that actually outnumbers the rabble. Okay, that's good. And we're going to need the help because they are about to go. Hoping our units don't panic here. Good. Alright. We'll take this first since we're protected by the rough ground. And now we have to fight here. Okay. Now I resolved all of this first because that gives me a clearer idea of what the picture is over here. Unfortunately I can't quite get my general over to anyone. At least it gives them a chance to rally up. They are locked in for now, so that cavalry's going nowhere, but they can turn to pin, at least until I break them next turn. And that means I can't really do much about these rampaging infantry. I need this to free up, and so this unit can turn and face this situation. Oh, except, well, they are pursuing. One thing that worries me is they might stop pursuing and he might be able to attack next turn. Let's see. And then turn to face. We do have a bit of a problem here because I'm running out of ground to back onto. Still going to take that charge because he can't actually charge me there. These guys still hold me back in place, but I have to remain in here because otherwise he could charge here and then he could get these units free. So these lancers are now holding them prisoner. We've got our cavalry around the sides, so I don't really care too much anymore. Now I have a dilemma to make. Do I engage? So obviously this is a no-brainer. We're going to engage here. But that leaves me vulnerable to his light cavalry over here. So do I try and break out of all of this? and just accept that my troops are going to be harried. That my cavalry here are going to be harried by his light javelin horse? Or do I accept that I have to outflank this cavalry, knowing that that's going to delay my ability to intervene in this battle here? This battle here is now going in my favour, so I think... Oh, I need to pick my side carefully though. Problem is the light cav. Ah, but if I turn to face here... Oh. Problem is the archers. I should have moved this unit. I was a bit too hasty here, so I think I will actually have to go over and intervene in the infantry battle, because his light cavalry can charge into my back and block me here. Problem is that these guys could lose this battle quite badly if I just abandon them. And I suppose if he charges his cavalry into my back like this, he will get quite badly mauled. Well, no, because he would... Yeah, I think... Let's see. See, here's the thing. If I turn now to face the square here, his archers can charge across here, knock the light javelin out the way, and then the cavalry come in to block. So he can stop that flank attack, and if I move around here, he can move them out the way, and they can charge. So once again, it's the light cavalry, not the heavies, that are my bane on the battlefield. They are, as usual, very good at blocking my advance. So I don't think I have the choice. I have to try to... hopefully that now actually does block him from moving forward. But it's bad news for my noble cavalry, and I have to deal with these guys on their own. Next turn. Well, those, wow, those poorly armed rebels stood their ground in the face of that. Alright. I think I have the positional advantage over him now. And that will certainly help. Well, I can't afford to waste resources trying to save my archers. That's a dangerous charge. You really do not want to charge your troops, your warbands into lancers, unless you absolutely have to. And with him winning over here, I'm not convinced he had to. Although, with the situation going so badly on his infantry flank, perhaps it wasn't completely unwise. But the thing is, this really doesn't achieve anything because they just drop back. All you're doing is handing your opponent the stick with which they're going to beat you. So of course I'm going to charge in now. Didn't work. I'd do that, but I'd pin myself into combat. Although that could be worth it now. Because he... No, just stay here for now. That wouldn't really win him anything. Because if he charges here, they'll just drop back to here. They won't turn to get blocked in here. And that would still open him up for flank attack anyway, so I don't really care if he did that. I think we'll target this unit this turn. He can chase these guys around, I don't really care. Still no luck there. I'll get lost. Javelin horse. Of course, now they can charge us again. So my armoured lancers are definitely going down now, even if we don't lose any further melees here. Well, good placement of the archers, because of course I can't get the flank attack yet. But I'm not in that much of a hurry, I don't need to, really. Let's, however, always see what's going on the ground before you commit to rash action. Yeah, we'll definitely be able to get that flank attack next turn. Unfortunate placement of those routers. Here's hoping this doesn't end in disaster. Good. Okay, and now this will be a good time to have a general, to be honest. Let's see if I can't do this. But it does set me up for a flank attack next turn on this unit here. Okay, just slowly cutting that warbands down. Let's see how this goes here before I do anything else. Because the thing is, he'll get the flank attack on this unit before I can get around to get the flank attack on this unit, so I don't think it's a good idea to commit to that yet, especially since I have reinforcements. Oh well. Correction, I have fragmented reinforcements moving up. Hopefully they'll rally soon. My poorly armed rabble are fighting in a manner that is nothing short of heroic, given their station. So yes, I think I will turn to face here, because I need to protect the flanks here. This isn't as much of an advantage as I thought it would be. With this unit rallied and with this unit superior, he's actually holding the line pretty well here. I need to break through here so I can bring even more forces into this fight to guarantee victory. But I think once I hit him here, I'll have enough of an advantage over the majority of his army. Move here so he can't possibly block that. That I should be on the road to victory. My fragmented archers hold out for a turn, I don't really care. And that's it for the turn, next turn. Everybody panic! They dropped back with the fragments. I thought I might get another flank attack in. Grizzly. And our archers finally give up the ghost. I'm not going to get a very good score for this round. My cavalry are going to be trapped in. He will bring down those armoured noble lancers at some point. If you can get a disruption there, that'll be good. God, this melee is completely unpredictable. I usually feel like there's some rhyme or reason to it, but this time it's just complete and utter chaos. Okay, let's hope we cut through this unit quickly. Nope. But we now have both of these units disrupted. Well, but it's not getting us very far. That charge was far less effective than I hoped it would be. But we've broken him here. And we've disrupted the cavalry. Oh, but we're going to be flanked here. And these guys just don't know when to quit. If they break this turn, we're going to get flanked. Well, that's hardly something we're going to be able to do much about. Oh, but if I position them there, then when this unit breaks, it'll knock all of this apart. My lancers just can't seem to win this. Well, there's nothing to stop us from charging in now. And that's a strike on impact. Bring them down. Bring it all down. God, we just can't break them. Another victory. Keep going. So many disruptions, but none of them are breaking. We just can't close the deal on any of these battles. This would have been so... Yeah. Oh, wait a second. They should pursue past. They should pursue past. We'll be okay. But will we hold together? Hey, health farm. Okay. Move here. Hopefully we can finally stave in this unit and drive them off. God, what a mess. Okay. Next turn. Oh, right on cue. And because we're trapped against the forest, we can't escape there. And here we're seeing the very rare situation where warbands actually beat lancers. It's not impossible. If the warband can force the lancers up against something where they can't fall back, then yes, they can win. And you do get isolated instances of it. The lancers don't usually win all the way along the line. It's generally the overall result which is consistent. It's quite a hammering suffered by those light javelin men. They've rallied up, haven't they? The only thing I can do is try and circle back around. I really would like to go after... Oh, wait, we've got this unit sitting in their flank. Well, I'm not devoting even more strength to wiping them out. That's the general over. Go away! Get out of here! Oh my goodness, we pushed the cavalry back towards the side. Warband armies aren't supposed to lose to sorry, Lancer armies aren't supposed to lose to warband armies. This is impossible. And yet it happens before my eyes. Okay, well that's something. We'll get to charge them next turn. Right. The inevitable happens. Hopefully they'll come back. They do have a general attached. At the very least, I want the general back. So what do you do when a couple of hundred extremely rowdy Dacians kidnap your sub-commander? Does Sun Tzu have anything to say about that? Next turn. The brawl continues. Now don't start coming back. Alright, of course they will pursue. I think now would be a good time for my peasants to exit. Oh dear. I see where this is going. Disruption and then probably a charge from his cavalry. Oh. Well, that's what he would have done if they'd disrupted then. Of course my cavalry have nowhere to escape, so they're dying slowly. That might have been a mistake. But no, they managed to close to range. He might have made a mistake there. Let's see how my warriors hold out. Well, we're still going to go for the flank attack. I'll just charge here twice. We've got them. Can I turn? It'd be a shame I could have set up a spare flank attack there. I should have attacked with the other unit. If I move up here, can I turn? Yeah, now that gives me insurance. So even if we can't get this for whatever reason, we can take this unit here. Focus fire. Oh. I'm surprised just how little damage we're causing. Maybe if they run away. Okay, that gets our light javelin out of dodge. There's unfortunately nothing I can do for these guys. Go in for the charge and try and break them this time. They're gone. Hopefully we go straight into their sides. Great. That could end the battle here. Okay, not quite. That's a no-brainer. You guys just get out of the way. You're not really in any condition to contest the situation. And they're pursuing. Because this unit is disrupted, which means it's in trouble if it encounters that loose order warband. But there's not really much I can do about that, is there? And that'll be decided by the time they get over there. Honestly, this entire situation is just unraveling now. Just can hold on, they've taken heavy casualties. That Volksman unit is almost dead. Well, I'll move here. I suppose if this unit breaks off the pursuit, then we might be able to get a flank charge in or something. We're kind of out of position to do anything too incredible. Keep some distance in case this unit breaks suddenly. I don't want it carrying this unit off the field as well. And start to move these back towards the center of the battlefield. Although, maybe send one unit off in this direction. They might get over here in time to do something. Alright. Next turn. Here we go. So, do I get to save my lancers or do they go down in a hail of glory? Moments before, my arriving infantry would make it unnecessary to go down in a hail of glory. Cavalry, rather. Yes, that was coming, wasn't it? Those lancers are getting all the accolades after this is over. Come on, just a little longer. Here we go. I think we do hold on, actually. It's making the right noises. If I can end it this turn. Yep. If I can end it this turn, maybe. He's managed to get the better of me here. Well, I want to hit this unit because I'm going for the instant break. That is helpful. That is extremely helpful. Right. Let's see. I think we'll hit this unit first. Excellent. That's not going anywhere good. So, and this unit will now break. Although, let's just hold the phone on that and see what happens when we break these units. So that's me over the requirement for victory now, but this will push my score down a little bit for the tournament. So down to 27 difference. I mean, it's still a win, but it's not nothing. Oh, and of course this unit's going to go. So this is actually back under the requirements for victory. I should have moved them. And now we're even worse off. I should stop talking. Right. So of course I take this unit, that pushes us back over the requirements, 28, that's respectable. And now, can I finish this unit off? Nope. Bad luck. because if I could have pushed it just a little bit farther, I would have collected this unit as well. But it wasn't to be, and I'm hardly in a position to complain. I've won the battle. Alright, next turn. And there we go. A glorious victory. Let's talk about that. Well, this didn't go quite as I expected it to, did I? Did it? There were some elements of luck in this battle, but what was really interesting is I ended up winning. No, wait, so I'm the Dacians here. Sorry, let me think. So it looked like I had everything game set and matched here, but with these unpredictable warbands, I had a lot of unlucky disruptions and things got away from me. I managed to get back on top of it, but it was close here for a moment. On the other hand, I had some good luck because my Volksmen, except for the exception of one unit, they did hold out very well. This did eventually go the way I expected to. That's what usually happens. Obviously, the warbands did manage to get the upper hand over one of my armoured cavalry, which they managed to force up against the forest, but the others broke through, and the cavalry were able to loop around the particularly stubborn warband. The cavalry did manage to get another one of my armoured lancers, but it was obvious which way this side of the battlefield was going. Although, now I say that, actually, I'm not so sure. No, actually, I think, looking at this, that the Germans were getting the upper hand in the situation. They still have a warband left here, and they still have these 2 units of cavalry here. So I think, had this gone on, unless my Volksmen could have intervened, the Germans would have actually won here, and that was against my secret weapon. That was against the Sarmatian lancers, which I expected to win the battle handily against the Germans, but the warbands held out. I couldn't get too many decisive charges in, and the noble cavalry and skirmishers were able to prove, I think, more decisive than I expected them to be. But of course, what you do have to remember is I had to send resources over here to help the Volksmen, and if I had this unit still on this side, then that would make the strategic position look different. So, I mean, a bit of a bizarre game, but overall, the strategy more or less worked. I was planning to get around the flanks. That was going to be the key punch-through point in the battlefield. I did manage to do that more or less, and the things got turned around. This is what's confusing me. We've got German units down here, and Dacian units in the German parts of the battlefield, so that's why I thought for a second that this was the German side of the battle. But we basically won over here, and that's what won us the battle, and I think this ended up being more of a holding action with my armoured noble lancers holding up his warbands, which wasn't a particularly cost-effective use of them, but in the end they managed to cause enough routes in key places that I suppose we got something out of them. But this was definitely more of a detraction, because with these cheap noble cavalry and the less expensive warband, they were only 58 points to 64. Grommulax was able to more or less draw evenly, if not actually get an advantage, though my mobility allowed me to get into the one area where he was really starting to get the upper hand against my Volksmen, and I think this was another critical moment. It's not just the power of the armoured noble lancers and the noble cavalry, it's their mobility as well, and the fact that I was able to slip something out of this melee and into the backs of these superior warbands sealed Grommulax's fate, where otherwise things could have gone on a little bit longer and to a more uncertain conclusion. Anyway, folks, not much more to say than that. I have been Napoleon Complex. Thank you for watching this video. Please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Farewell. Here is the casualty screen. Pretty typical overall.